Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Tiffany Co. CT60 Chronograph. This is a newer watch from Tiffany Co. It sort of represents their relaunch, making watches themselves using their own suppliers and things like that. The CT60 collection includes a 3-hand model, this chronograph model. There's a calendar model as well. But I think the chronograph model is probably going to be one of the most popular ones. Steel case, 42 millimeters wide, comes on a strap as well as this bracelet. A mixture of very traditional components as well as some modern elements as well. But again, Tiffany has sort of said, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's make a clean slate in terms of design. Let's go back to something we sold in the 1940s. There was some watch for, I think it was like FDR. That the entire CT60 collection was based on, and the calendar model is sort of the most designed to look like that. And you have something that is very traditional. It's very American looking, and they use it, and they're going to use this as a base, right? To create more and more interesting designs, because a couple generations ago, you look at some of the Tiffany & Company watches, and they were really avant-garde. They still sell some of them, for example, the Atlas collection, but the CT60 sort of really represents the new way. So you have a very nicely made symmetrical dial. This blue one looks great. Doing a blue dial is difficult to do. I also like the hour markers, and apparently there's a little bit of sort of gold paint used in making the hour markers, and they look very nice. They stand out. I always like Arabic numeral dials. I always find them to be very legible. Unfortunately, there's only luminant on the hands, and the hour markers themselves don't have any lume material, and it would have been great even if a little bit there would have been like a lume dot on the outside of the hour markers, but they don't have that. So the hands do have luminant material. The hour markers don't. A little bit of a letdown, but not the end of the world there. The movement is a nicely finished version of the Swiss Edda Valjo 7750 with a custom rotor there for Tiffany. It's that nice, highly decorated version. I like the fact that you can see it through the case back. One of the questions is who is this watch for? Who did Tiffany produce the CT60 for? Is it for watch lovers? Look, I didn't even take the plastic off there. I actually like leaving the plastic on there. Why even take it off? You can't even see it. Protects it from scratches, right? So the question is, who did Tiffany & Company design this collection for? Is it watch lovers, or is it someone else? And I would say that it's the type of watch that will definitely satisfy watch lovers, but it's definitely designed for the mainstream. And the reason I say that has to do with the design. Tiffany is looking for an all-around conservative men's watch that anyone going to Tiffany can pick up, and it will fit their demographic. They want it to be a little bit flashy, but not that flashy. So you have definitely a lot of polished elements, things that catch your attention, namely the bracelet. So the bracelet is actually a traditional 3-link design, but you'll notice that the links are slightly faceted there, and the center one is polished. So you have an interesting way that it plays with the light. And I actually like that. It actually looks cool. The bracelet's also tapered a little bit. Not a lot, but tapered a little bit, which helps it look a little bit sort of thinner on the wrist. And I like that. And so when you have the visual mass of a case like this, especially with these very long lugs, I think it's good to have that tapering of the bracelet. The version on the bracelet is probably the one I like the most, not only because of the bracelet, but because of the fact that the lugs are quite long, and I feel like they look a little bit too large for the case when the watch is worn with the strap, but it looks definitely fine with the bracelet. In addition to the blue dial, there's a few other dials. I think there's a dark gray dial or black dial and a lighter color dial, which might be a little bit more conservative, but you really shouldn't miss the blue one because I think it looks very, very stunning. The CT60 is going to appeal to people that want a conservative timepiece, is going to appeal to people that want something that is very versatile stylistically. Is it really going to sort of like set itself apart in the sense that when people look at it, they're going to think, oh, that's Tiffany. Tiffany probably isn't quite yet there. There are lots of little elements on the case that you notice them. You can see elements of Tiffany's design history, and you can notice things that you'll find in other Tiffany watches. But it's very much sort of a look that combines a lot of elements, both, like I said, modern and historic, but not in a way that I think brings with it a huge amount of Tiffany character. But at the same time, it's a very nice watch. It's a very comfortable watch. It's an easy to read watch. So I think whereas Tiffany is, creating something which is a little bit more mainstream in its design, they're also sort of looking for the consumer base and trying to bring something to market that is very sort of readily acceptable in terms of the consumers, buying habits and things like that. They don't have to think about, they don't have to feel, oh, this is a weird watch. They're looking for something that's very familiar. We have all the prices online on the review. The price, of course, for the bracelet is going to be a little bit different, but it's in the vicinity of about $7,000 or $7,200 for the watch on the bracelet, a little bit less for the strap, and we'll give you all the full details in the written review on aBlogtoWatch soon. Thanks.